Let's sit down. Do we give them time or we continue? Tomenta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can we give them time or we continue?
I wish I should give them time since this is the last class.
Okay, but I wish they will join because I don't want us to waste time and then at the end they don't join.
Or we can say 5 minutes so that we can start up by 8:30 latest.
No, let's wait for that 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I can't hear anything. Is the class on?
We were waiting for you people to join us.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
You're all welcome.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
today will be our last class for tonight. Before we delve into today's discussion, let's just do a recap of what we learned in our last class. We talked about accounting software, right?
Yes,
We look
sir.
at what are the accounting software. We said accounting softwares are programs that help accountants in recording and preparing reports. Look at advantages of accounting software. Look at the types of accounting software. We talk about NetSuite. We talk about Sage. We talk about Xero. We talk about QuickBooks and the likes. Now, today, we're going to look at ethics in accounting. Ethics in accounting is a topic we're going to look at tonight. So, I hope we're all set.
Yes, sir.
All right. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, excuse me, having some little issues here. Is there? Just wait. Just wait. Now, this is what we intend to look at tonight. In the content, we have meaning of ethics. We look at example of ethical issues. We look at fundamental principle of ethics in accounting. We'll now see importance of ethics in accounting. And then lastly, we look at ways to improve ethics in accounting. Now, definition of ethics in accounting. Ethics in accounting embodies the fundamental principles and values that direct the action of professionals within the accounting domain. It revolves around making principled choices, upholding transparency, and showcasing a commitment to maintain integrity. Ethics in accounting refer to the principle and standard that guide accountants in conducting their duties. One thing you need to know that accountants are professionals. What do? They keep records. They present reports. From these reports, people make decisions, investment decisions, and the like. So if you are not guided by ethics or by some principles, you may end up misleading some people in making the wrong decision. That is why we have ethics. So these are what principle and standard that guides accountants in conducting their duties. As accountant, you have duties to perform in whichever organization you're working. And they are what principle that guides you. They are what fundamental principle that guides you. And they direct your actions within the accounting domain. Every profession has its own ethics. If you go to medicine, they have their own ethic. If you go to any profession at all, They have ethics that govern their operations. Now, what are the ethical issues in accounting? Ethical issue in accounting occur when a decision, activity, or scenario conflicts with the organizational or societal ethical standard. Both organization and accountant can become involved in ethical issues since others may question their action from a moral viewpoint. Complex ethical issues include diversity, compliance, government, and ethical decision and empathetic decision making that align with the nation's core values. So, as an individual, as a profession, you have the way you do things. But the thing is that your behaviors, are they in line with the national goal? Are they in line with societal goal? So we all come from different background, and whatever we do, whatever decision we take, will affect other people. Our behavior may conflict with the organizational ethical standards. Every organization has a standard of doing things. So your behaviors, your actions may conflict with those standards. I will say both organizations and accountants can become involved in ethical issues since others may question their action from a moral viewpoint. So your behavior, people look at it, read you from anywhere as an accountant, your behavior matters a lot. So complex ethical issues include what? Diversity. What you think is right, another person look at it as being wrong. What is a norm here become a taboo another place. We look at compliance. There are set guidelines, there are rules, there are regulations that guide our operation as accountants. They need to what? Comply with these set rules and principles. That's why governance and empathetic decision-making that align with the organization core value must be what? Must be enhanced. For every organization, they have what we call their core values, what they cherish much. So by the time your actions, your behavior is in conflict with that standards, it means what? We have an issue. Ethical conflict may pose a risk for an accountant as they may imply non-compliance with what? Relevant legislation. They may not have legal consequences, but may cause an adverse reaction from third parties. It may be challenging to effectively manage ethical issues when no guideline exists. Sometimes your behavior may not, people will not take action against you, but they look at the organization entirely as what? As something else. It will affect third parties. This could be your vendors, this could be your customers, it could be any other person, stakeholders of your company or your organization. So your behaviors are very, very important. You must to check out your behaviors. For this reason, as a professional accountant, you are required to adhere strictly to the fundamental principle of ethics known as what? The code of ethics, as well as other policies and put in place in carrying out your professional duties to enable you make the right decision when faced with moral issues. So as accountant, there are what we call code of ethics or code of professional ethics. These are what set rules. These are principles that have been put in place by different accounting bodies, ACCA, ACA, ACCA, ICANN, and the rest of them. These are what? These are principles, these are standards that are put in place to help accountants check their behaviors in carrying out their duties. What are the common ethical issues in accounting profession? As an accountant, you will face some of these issues. One, accepting bribes. This practice, though those we hate to admit it, can and does occur. While any attempt must be reported, I would be naive to state that it is exceptional or rare. Whenever it happens, it is usually the interplay of lack of oversight in terms of the clients to accounting firm relationship and an inherent unethical need on the part of the accountant or auditor. So as an accountant, you have the risk of what? Accepting bribe. This bribe can come from maybe your clients or your vendors. You accept bribes to change figures. Maybe it's one of your creditors, sorry, a debtor rather, and then maybe he's owing 5 million naira, and he offer you a bribe of this 10 or 100 or maybe see, you offer you a bribe of 10,000 or 100,000. You now change the figure to a lesser figure. So there is that tendency of what you accept bribe. These are ethical issues. Accepting bribe is very, very wrong. So we are in a dilemma sometimes if you're dealing with customers. There will be some opportunities to accept bribe. People will tempt you in so many ways. And by the time you accept, by the time you fall a victim, you have what? Acted unethical. You know what it means. Number two, manipulation of financial data. Though our digital age allowed the financial community to seamlessly handle massive quantities of data, and the level of sophistication of those imputing and working with that data has vastly improved, ethical disconnect happened. The culprit behind this practice is almost a top-down pressure in an effort to avoid or reduce taxation. An important question is in order here. If a senior executive is eventually indicted, the government will work its way down or up, depending, and you will have no defense. Far better to walk away from an unethical situation. Probably you're working in an organization, and then because your boss want you to want to evade tax, you don't want you to pay, you don't want the organization to pay tax, so you end up manipulating your financial data. Maybe you make a profit of 5 billion and you now report and you make profit of 5 million. Why is it doing that? So that you will pay less tax. And by the time government discover this, everybody will be in trouble. The senior management will be culprit. You also will be culprit. They will work through and then do their investigation. If you are found wanting, you know what it means. These are what example of what or common ethical issues. Then we have inaccurate data. As an adjunct to the point I made above, it is the imputing and at least temporarily as misstatement of what data. What may begin as temporary cover-up can indeed snowball into massive losses for shareholders. Again, an unintentional misstatement is bad enough, but an intentional effort is guaranteed to result in what? Severe consequences. So as an accountant, you must be very, very diligent in handling data. When you report wrong data, you are misleading a lot of people. You're misleading your customers, you're misleading your shareholders, you're misleading everybody in the society. All the users of the financial statement, you're misleading them. And if anybody make decision based on the data you presented, and these data are wrong, and if you discover, you'll be in trouble. Inaccurate data is one of what? Common ethical issues. The next one is theft of funds. There are more sophisticated ways to state it, but I have heard spoken and written on numerous unethical schemes that involve theft of clients' funds or by opportunistic accountants who, again, were able to thrive in organizations that lack a proper system of checks and balances. Yeah, where you have cash available, is that temptation for what? To steal. Someone, maybe you work in an organization where you deal with cash, and then customer paid cash into your account instead of to remit to the organization, you hide it. It's unethical behavior. Because remember, we say this can happen when there's what? There's no proper internal control. There's no segregation of duty. That means you are the one that collect cash, you record the cash, you start from A to Z of transaction. There's no check and balances. And this can only happen when the accountant have the opportunity. And then when he utilize it, and then it becomes what? A big problem. Then issue of what? Corporate social responsibility. This gray area somehow eludes scrutiny in most ethical financial discussion. As accountant, there's a duty not just to the organization, but to the greater community. I've been challenged as to this point when I have delivered accounting ethics keynote address. There is no basis for challenge. The world has changed, and I feel for the much better. Issues such as sexual harassment, workplace bullying, overt or subvert racism, religion intolerance, and even covering up illegal dumping or environmental abuse now also fall into the accounting domain. Now, as a business entity, apart from what you do to make profit, it's what we call corporate social responsibility. That means you have responsibility to the community you're located. Most of the time, you discover that your staff can begin to misbehave in that community. There will be issues of what? Sexual harassment or bullying in workplace. You do a lot of racism. Look about religious intolerance. These are what? These are very, very wrong issues. As an accountant, you don't need to be found in any of these. Remember that you have a responsibility to the company as well as the community where that organization is resided or is situated. You must behave in a way that nobody will suffer any injury. The populace will never suffer injury. The company will not suffer injury. Your responsibility should be what? Should be very decorum. Now, let's look at the principle of what? Ethics for accountant. Now that we understand the significance of ethics in accounting and the pivotal role accountants play in managing financial information and making impactful decisions affecting individuals, organizations, and society at large, it is crucial to comprehend how to act ethically. This is where accounting principles come into play. Remember, adherence to this principle is integral for substantial success. This is just a summary of what I just said earlier. Now, as an accountant, your work is being depended on by a lot of people. If that's the case, you need to behave ethically. Your behavior should be what? Ethically. For you to succeed as an accountant, you need to what? Adhere to these ethical principles. Look at them here. We have 1, professional skepticism. We have professional behavior. We have confidentiality. We have professional competence. We have objectivity. And we have integrity. We call them guiding principles for ethical accounting. Now, there are 6 here. Suppose we have 5. Suppose we have 4. But we have 6 for this class. Let's look at them one after the other. What is integrity? Integrity is the foundation of what? Ethical behavior in accounting. Accountant must be honest, truthful, and transparent in all their professional dealings. They should adhere to the highest moral and ethical standard, even when faced with difficult situations. By maintaining integrity, accountants build trust with their clients, colleagues, and the public. As the first principle, you must have integrity. You must be honest. You must be truthful. You must be transparent in all your professional dealings. And how can you do that? You must adhere to the highest moral and ethical standard. What is wrong is wrong. Maybe because in your village, it's a behavior, you look at it as a normal behavior. When you're working in a different organization or a different location, what you may think is right is wrong. You have to adhere to it. Morally wrong. So you must be honest, truthful. And this honesty is not for you and your colleagues alone. It is for everybody, your clients, and the entire general public. The next one is objectivity. Objectivity is essential for accountants to provide unbiased and impartial financial information. They must exercise professional judgment without being influenced by personal interests or external pressures. That is, if you are to make a decision, don't be biased, don't be selfish, don't look at your own interest, don't look at people influencing you. Do what you feel is right. You should be professional in your judgment, because there's a possibility you make a judgment based on an influence. Maybe your boss can influence to write a report that is not correct. It could be a pressure from your boss, your colleague, or any other person, or because you have an interest, write a report that is not correct. You're not being objective, but you're trying to be what? Biased. The next one is professional competence. Accountants are expected to possess the necessary knowledge, skills, and expertise to perform their duties competently. Continuous professional development is crucial to stay updated with the latest accounting standards and regulation. By enhancing their professional competence, accountants can provide accurate and reliable financial information to stakeholders. You must read, you must study, you must keep yourself up to date. You must get the required skills. You must get the knowledge, the expertise. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. You may pick a standard, for instance, an old standard have been, maybe you've changed it. You now begin to work based on that standard. And by the time you make your report, report will be wrong. Why? Because you refuse to get updated information. One thing with accountant is what? There's a watchword for them. Like for ICANN, think about accuracy. You must be accurate. If you are accurate in your presentation, your financial statement will be reliable to stakeholders. So the skills are important. How do you get these skills? Through studies. Knowledge is important through studies. Expertise by doing it, performing what you're doing continuously. The next one is confidentiality. Confidentiality is a fundamental principle in accounting that ensures the privacy and security of sensitive financial information. Accountant must respect the confidentiality of client data and refrain from disclosing it without proper authorization. Upholding confidentiality builds trust between accountant and their client, fostering a strong professional relationship. As an accountant, you have a lot of everything about the organization is in your hand. You have the secret of your clients, your customers. You have everything. So you are not supposed to disclose that secret to third party. You're not supposed to discuss anything that's to do with the organization with any other person outside. It is wrong. Or not to talk of giving the information to your competitor. He will take advantage of that information, and then before you know it, he beat you in business. He push you out of the business. So you have to be what? Confidential. Keep secret what is meant to be kept secret. you're not allowed to disclose any information unless you authorize to do so. There's what proper authorization. By the time you remain confidential, that will build trust between you and your client. That will foster a stronger relationship. By the time you divulge information of a customer to a third party, and then before you know it, things get round back to him, he will not trust you again. The next one is professional behavior. Accountants should conduct themselves in a manner that uphold the dignity and reputation of the profession. They should avoid engaging in any activity that could bring disrepute to the accounting profession. Professional behavior include being respectful, cautious, and maintain professional boundaries with clients and colleagues. Should not be seen as somebody who is arrogant. Should be seen disrespecting your colleagues or your boss in the office. Should be seen not looking down at anybody. You have a boundary. Don't just begin to chat with clients anyhow or colleagues anyhow. Because by the time you begin to discuss some things, you discover that you may end up just pushing out information that they're supposed to say concerning the organization. You should what? Maintain professional behavior. Respect is one of them, cautious is one of them, and then we want have a boundary with your colleagues and with your client. Remember, we also talk about secrets, confidentiality. If you don't keep a boundary with your client, by the time you begin to mingle, and then before you know it, you divulge information that you're not supposed to have. You have break two of these principles. One, you didn't maintain professional behavior, and then you break what? The principle of confidentiality. Then the next one says what? Professional skepticism. Professional skepticism is the mindset of questioning and critically evaluating financial information. Accountants should exercise professional skepticism to detect potential errors, fraud, or misstatement in financial record. By adopting a skeptical approach, accountants can ensure the accuracy and reliability of financial information, thereby protecting the interests of stakeholders. That is an accountant. Don't just carry information and then make use of it. No. Just have the mindset that, okay, even though you know this, you must go through that information to make sure that what the data reported are what they ought to be. You go through the data, check, verify to ensure that what there are no errors. There is nothing like misstatement or fraud in the financial statement. That means accountant will come to you with what? With he's not sure of what you're giving him. Even if it is correct, he must verify by himself. That's what we call professional skepticism. Now, how can we improve ethics in accounting? That is ways of improving ethics in accounting. Ethics in accounting play a crucial role in maintaining the integrity and trustworthiness of financial information. Accountant needs to adhere to ethical principles to ensure accurate reporting and transparency. Here are 6 ways to improve ethics in accounting. So we have 6 ways here. The first one is establish a code of conduct. A well-defined code of conduct serves as guiding framework for ethical behavior in accounting. It outlines the expected standards and behavior that accountants should follow. By clearly communicating this expectation, organization can foster a culture of integrity and accountability. So one of the ways to work, make sure you have a code of conduct. This is what guides the accountant or guide every employee what you need to do and what you don't need to do, what is good and what is not good, or what is acceptable, what's acceptable in that organization. By the time you have all these codes in place, It will help you what to check your behaviors, to check your excesses. That is, in the code of conduct, it communicates expectation from you as an employee, and then the culture that they have. Every organization has a culture. That's the way they do things. The next one is what? Promoting ethical training. Continuous education and training on ethical practice are vital for accountants. By providing regular workshops and seminars, organizations can enhance their employees' understanding of what ethical dilemmas and equip them with the necessary skills to make ethical decisions. There should be what? Constant training and retraining of what? Of employees, accountant inclusive. This can take place in the form of what? Workshop, seminars. In that workshop, they will train you what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. It will tell you the dangers of doing what you think is right. By the time they keep training, keep training, you get yourself equipped with all the skills, and you can make what? Ethical decision. Another one is what? Encourage whistleblowing. Creating a safe environment for employees to report on ethical behavior is crucial. Whistleblower mechanisms such as anonymous hotline or reporting channels allow individuals to raise concern without fear of retaliation. This promotes accountability and helps identify and address unethical practice promptly. Whistleblowing is also another way to improve ethical behaviors. Now, if you go to serious organizations, they have to call whistleblowing policy. This policy outline what an employee need to do. What if you see anything that's unethical? You can report. There are channels for reporting. You record some people use hotline, they give you phone number to call. This is what I'm seeing in the organization. This is what this person is doing, and it's not correct or it's not right. Because some other people use, some organizations use what? They use email. They have an email address where you can report any issue you see. This is another way of what? Enhancing ethical behaviors in organization. The next one is what? Implementing internal controls. Remember, we talked about internal control in our previous class. So robust internal control are essential for preventing fraud and ensuring accurate financial reporting. By implementing separation of duties, regular audits, and thorough review processes, organizations can minimize the risk of what? Unethical behavior and detect any irregularities early on. Yes, when you have a robust internal control, it will help you to prevent fraud and then ensure that your financial reporting is accurate. Now, there should be what? Segregation of duty. That means one person should not be allowed to start a transaction and then end it all alone. There should be checks and balances. For instance, the person that will write the check should be different, and the person that will verify the check, authorize the check, should be different. So that by the time maybe accountant write the check, then maybe his superior will now sign the check, and other person outside sign the check, two people sign the check before payment is made. But if you allow the accountant to be the one to write the check, sign the check, take the check to bank, make the entries in the financial record, and then report by himself, it can lead to what? Fraud. And there should be what? Regular audit. You can have an internal audit department in your organization. What do? They check all processes to make sure that what they are complying with the policies of the organization. They go through the process, they go through every transaction, they make sure that what you're doing what it ought to be done. And there should also be thorough review process in place. And if this is put in place, It can minimize the risk of what? Unethical behaviors, and also help in detecting any irregularity earlier before it become worst. The next one is what? Lead by example. Ethical behavior start at the top. You are the boss. Leaders should demonstrate integrity and ethical decision-making in their action and decision. When employees see their superior upholding ethical standards, they are more likely to follow suit. So if your boss is doing the right thing, who are you as a subordinate not to do the right thing? When your boss misbehave, it follows suit. You say, even Oga is doing the same thing, so who am I? So we should what? Live by example. Lead by example. Then the next one says, encourage ethical discussions. Creating an open dialogue about ethics within the organization encourages employees to voice their concern and seek guidance when faced with ethical dilemmas. Regular discussion or forums can help clarify ethical expectations and provide a platform for sharing experience and best practices. Yes, as an organization, you can have an open discussion where employees voice out their challenges, seeking clarification on things that they don't understand, share their experiences. In doing that, it will enhance ethical behaviors in the organization. Then the last one says leverage AI-powered solutions. Leverage artificial intelligence powered solutions. Integrating AI in accounting practice marks a pivotal step towards bolstering ethical standards. AI acts as a formidable ally, addressing issues that often plague manual processing, such as data mismanagement, human errors, and inadvertent accounting omission. So most of the software that we have, the online versions, they have AI integration. Just like what I said, if you make a wrong entry, it will warn you, like the search and maybe the QuickBooks and the rest of them. If you make any wrong entry, it has what? AI. So it helps you what? To reduce a lot of errors, human errors. It helps to reduce omission. When that is done, it helps you to what? To report or to have a better financial report. Now, what are the importance of ethics in accounting? Why do we have to be ethical in our behaviors? One, mitigating legal risks and ensuring compliance. Ethical accounting practices serve as a shield against legal risks and non-compliance. Upholding ethical standards helps accountants adhere to what? Regulatory framework and industry guidelines. Maintaining precise financial record, following standardized accounting procedures, and ensuring transparency minimize the risk of legal repercussions, fostering a culture of lawful and responsible financial management. So one of the important is what? It reduces or it guards against legal risks or litigation. Because by the time you misbehave, by the time you report, your financial report is misleading, and someone rely on that financial information and then make a decision, and then something happens, you are at risk. You can take legal action against you. By the time you adhere to these ethical standards or code of ethics, it reduces that risk of what? Legal repercussion. The next one says preserving financial integrity and public trust. Ethics is in accounting form the bedrock of financial integrity and trust. Accountants play a crucial role in presenting accurate and reliable financial statement. Adhering to ethical principles like honesty, objectivity, transparency strengthen the credibility of financial information. Investors and stakeholders depend on this report for informed decision. Upholding ethical standards build trust and confidence in financial data, strengthen relationships, and market trust. I've said this earlier. Your information is not meant for you alone. Whatever record you keep and the report you share is not meant for you alone. People make use of that report for investment purposes. And then if you maintain ethical behavior, you do what is right, and you have accurate financial data, of course, it will build trust. People look at you, guy, this person or this organization is trustworthy. Whatever they give out is what it is. The report is always correct. You can invest based on your report because of what they believe you are giving the right thing. They believe there's integrity in your financial report. Why must we why must we be ethical as an accountant? One, this one says what? Preventing fraud and unethical practices. Ethical accounting practice as a deterrent to fraudulent activities and unethical practice. Accountants committed to ethical conduct are less likely to engage in fraudulent activities such as embezzlement or manipulation of financial data. Dedication to honesty and integrity discourages unethical behavior, safeguarding the interests of company, shareholders, stakeholders from financial malpractice. So if you behave ethically, you will not find yourself in any practice of what fraud or any fraud fraudulent activities or unethical behavior or practices because of what you are adhering to the code of conduct. You're behaving very well. You're observing the 6 fundamental principle of what ethics. You have integrity. You have professional what the competence. You have your objective in your reporting and the rest of them. So that will prevent you from what? From any form of fraud. When you mention fraud, your name is not there. Then the next one says enhancing corporate reputation and image. Ethics in accounting significantly contribute to enhancing the corporate reputation and image of an organization. Commitment to ethical accounting practice foster a positive perception among stakeholders, clients, investors, and the public. Companies consistently adhere to ethical standards are perceived as what? Trustworthy and responsible, enhancing brand value and nurturing long-term relationships. So, if you behave ethically as an organization or as a corporate body, people look at you with value, trust you. They trust whatever you do. Your clients, your stakeholders, your investors believe in what you do, because what? It has given you a very good image in the society. We look at you and say, this one, they is the best. Whatever they say, it is correct. So it nurture or it has and nurture what? A long-term relationship. Supporting long-term sustainability. Ethical accounting practices are integral to sustaining long-term viability. Adhering to ethical standards ensures sound resource management, promote financial stability, and reinforces business operation sustainability. By avoiding unethical financial maneuvers, accountants contribute to a stable financial environment conducive to sustain growth and prosperity. Ethical accounting practice lay the groundwork for enduring success and longevity within an organization. This is just straightforward. If you have If you want to maintain sustainability, you must do what is right. As an accountant, you must do what is right. Everybody in that organization must do what is right. But because you want to cut corners, you want to make ends meet by all means, you begin to misbehave, do a lot of funny things. That organization will not last. Before you know it, it will be closed down. But for long-term sustainability, ethical behaviors and ethical practice must be what adhered to by everyone, not even the accountant alone. Everybody in that organization must behave ethically, because any unethical behaviors will lead to what will affect the long-term sustainability of that organization. In conclusion, as the last thing, in conclusion, adherence to ethical principles help to maintain public trust, comply with legal and regulatory requirements, maintain professionalism, and manage risks. That is the bedrock of everything. That is in everything we've said. This is the conclusion. When you adhere to ethical principle, it will make people to trust your organization. You will also comply with the laws. You adhere to the laws put in place by government, by your organization policies, and other regulatory requirements. It will also help to maintain your professionalism, and then you manage any risks. Now, with this, we've come to the end of our discussion. Any questions, any contribution, any concern from anybody?
No question.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm just, what about other people? Juliana,
Sir,
what about you?
it is clear, sir.
Okay, that is you. What about Juliana and the others? Are they still on this call?
Yes, just that their mics are mute.
Okay, maybe they cannot hear me. So that is it. What remains here is I have my details here. If you have any issue, you can call me, you can WhatsApp me, I have my mail, and send me any concern you have. The next thing is we will write our exams, then after which certification. But meanwhile, in all the topics we've gone through, if you have any concern, you can just reach out to me. Is that clear? Then the day of the
Yes, sir.
exams will be shared on the platform. So let me try to liaise with the management and see how the exam will look like. We'll see how the exam will look like. Then that information will be shared on the platform for everybody to see. And then after that, certification. So anything from anybody?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Okay. Sophia, what about you? All right. If there's no any concern from anybody, there's no any observation, no question, we'll call it a night until you hear from me. Keep reading for your exams so that at least your efforts will not be in vain. I appreciate all your patience, the doggedness throughout this period has not been easy, but you have shown that you can do it. Please, accounting is not something that you just read once and then let's do what? Constant practice. Remember, we talk about what? Competence. Talk about skill. Talk about knowledge. And this one comes through what? Constant practice. You have resources all over on the internet. You can go ahead and then read wide, make it wider so that at least you have a better understanding. Because this course we did is very loaded. Because it has to do with about 4, 5, 6 different subjects. We have cost accounting is there, we have auditing is there, we have management accounting is there, we have financial accounting is there, we have what again? Taxation is there. So it's very, very broad. But thank God we're able to summon that mountain. We went through all the topics. So do well by going into research. Remember, I said my phone lines are always on. My email is there for any assistance. Nice working with you. God bless till we see during the exams. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
You're welcome.